nakaka-inspire eh. When you start growing your own food, you know, your mind just becomes so excited about what do I create with this. If we utilize both masculine and feminine qualities to a sense na there's just tamang balance lang talaga, then I think we can get really consistent results. I believe those the reactions that you exhibit are never about others. It's about yourself. Drop the ego. It's hard sometimes for women to understand, am I coming from pride and ego, or am I truly coming from my soul?
Hi everyone, welcome to Womenpowered channel where we make a difference. And today's episode, we will be talking about how women can create a better version of themselves. Our guest speaker is actually one of my favorite women on earth. she's one of my mentors, and I'm so inspired on her journey as an entrepreneur, and now she'll be sharing to us how she followed her passion and become, of course, the very best version of herself. And so everybody, please help me in welcoming Miss Wit Holganza.
Hi, Rose!
Hi, Miss Wit! I'm so happy being happened. By the way, we are in Cacao City. This is a pasalubong center for all Davao made in Mindanao.
Cacao and chocolate products.
So, Miss Wit became a farmer or a cacao crafter.
Right.
And how did you transition to being like that?
Alam mo, Rose, it's almost like I feel like it's a previous life that I've led. And I'm pretty sure I've led multiple lives already before becoming a farmer and a cacao crafter. But we go a long way back, right? We go back like almost siguro mga about 9 years ago, because when I came back to Davao, Rose, I put up a business that was really all about teaching people to become a BPO professional, business process outsourcing provider. So I put up a school, and that school operated for about 8 years. And then within the 2 years from the time we started that school, I opened up the BPO. And that was where we started having these engagements in the information communication technology space, right? And we were both volunteers also for ICT. And over the course of 8 years, Rose, I started getting involved in the family farm. And then, little by little, I felt more drawn towards managing a farm. Because even when I wasn't managing the farm, even when I was just newly married, I always had this passion about gardening. One of the stress relievers I had after, a job that was 8 to 5, and it was so stressful because I was managing parang something like 50 business units at the same time. It was one entire region, geographic area that I covered, managing a retail food service. One of the things that would allow me to de-stress was to take time out to do gardening. I would prune my flower bushes. I would do all sorts of things in the garden and taking care of orchids and all that. So ever since I can remember, Rose, working with plants was something that took off the stress of an 8 to 5 corporate job.
Yeah.
And then,
the opposite from being technical.
Right. Kasi feeling ko, Rose, when I'm in the corporate world, it's so structured. Everything has a process, and then you follow steps from 1 to 12, and you do it over and over again, and then you deal with a lot of problems at work. Now, sometimes you can get lost in this mechanical and monotonous process. So, when I started getting involved in the farm operations, Rose, I realized I enjoy ako. Even if unglamorous. Many people think of farming as an unglamorous thing to do. But I felt so connected, and I felt at peace every time I would be in the farm. So way back in 2008, we started planting cacao. Of course, the farm called Gran Verde, which is located in Calinan, sits on 5-hectare spread. And it had fruit trees. And then, pagbalik ko sa Pilipinas after a stint abroad, working for the same retail food service chain, I started planting cacao in about between 2008 to 2010. Yun. And then, nung nag-harvest na kami, Rose, talagang nakaka-excite. The feeling of seeing all this pumpkin. in front of you, and then you start thinking, okay, what do? Do I do everything that everyone is doing? So most of us cacao farmers would end up doing tablea. So do I end up doing tablea, or do I create something more unique? So over a process of 12 months, me and my daughter work on several potential food projects, and then eventually landed on doing a Pinoy-inspired na granola, which is a healthy snack, no? So, as you can see right behind us, these are granola packs. And the granola packs are made out of rolled oats, roasted cacao, and then dried fruit and rice, crisp rice. So, we felt that the cacao nib granola was going to be a more healthy take on a snack. Yun. It was not endemic to us, it's not indigenous to us to eat granola, but more and more people were becoming aware of it. So, the first foray into food crafting after the farming side, kasi nakakita na kami ng harvest, nakaka-inspire eh. When you start growing your own food, you know, your mind just becomes so excited about what do I create with this? I mean, how do I turn this into something really delicious and something people will find satisfaction from? Yun. So, nagkasunod-sunod na yun, Rose. Pero, you know, I never totally got out of information communication technology because right now, I still run we still have the BPO, and I still do part-time volunteer work for the ICT group. And I feel like the link between me being with the ICT space and doing BPO, the link there is really the technology side. Because the technology is really an enabler for any industry. And so, my hope really now, Rose, no? Kasi I continue to farm, and now I just don't produce cacao, I also produce vegetables that are chemical-free. My hope now is to be able to find that sweet spot where technology can really enable us, farmers and food crafters, to bring our products across borders. Yun. So, I'm not entirely 100% profitable yet, but the truth of the matter, Rose, is money is important to me, and that's a metric I cannot do without. But my satisfaction and happiness over what I'm doing is the primary factor that I consider more than the profitability side of it. Of course, it's important for us to keep the profits, keep the healthy, so that we can continue to sustain the business. But I have less focus on being able to get that ROI. I have more focus on just continuously doing creative product development. Because I feel like that's the one that's ultimately more satisfying to me than the returns and the money. And for me to hear somebody say na I like your product, it's healthy, I find it yummy, and I will reorder, then I feel like, okay, this is part of my advocacy now, Rose, which is really sustainable production and sustainable consumption. Because I really feel like it's crazy. We buy so much stuff that's not even made here, that's not grown here. And then, you know, when you look at the carbon footprint of all these products, imported products that sits in our pantry, Diyos ko dahi, talagang parang mahihimatay ka na, saan galing to? Wow, umikot na to sa buong globe. Yun. So, parang, I feel like farming and growing food and creating something delicious like this is already my way of contributing to making sure that the carbon footprint and the kind of parang damage we do to the earth is more or less minimized in my own story.
That's really amazing. And so I remember you being the president of the National ICT Confederation.
Right.
So during that time, you were already farming.
I was already farming on the side.
So, and then you just gradually transitioning to this, becoming full-time, and then now just be a volunteer with ICT Davao.
Right. Siguro, Rose, parang I would say that personal journey is more parang, instead of me being focused on my external environment, I started to focus on my inner work.
That is something that I want to know more about you and know more from you.
Right.
So how do you have any like habits or ritual that you do to keep you sane in this entrepreneurial like environment, in a business environment, which is sometimes overwhelming, toxic, diba? You have to talk to a lot of people.
Right.
And so how do you make up that space, your individual space, and then reclaim or
Right.
take again your
You know,
feminine power.
right. Rose, I finished a meeting before I came to this interview, and one of the topics we were talking about was sometimes we women can get drawn to a very masculine world that is ruled by logic, ruled by results, ruled by deadlines, ruled by structure. And sometimes we forget to nurture the feminine qualities. The feminine qualities of intuition, gentleness, subtlety, nurturing, yun. And I feel, Rose, na this journey of mine, because like I said, I spent a good almost 20 years with corporate retail food service, and then another 8 years in the ICT and BPO space. I felt the need to really try to go deep down inside of me and really ask myself, what is it that really makes me happy? What are the things that gives me more peace, more calm, more creativity?
That's a very
More
powerful
creativity.
question.
Oh, those are the things I asked myself, Rose. And because I couldn't find answers immediately, Rose, I was like seeking. What I did was to dwell and explore several spiritual practices. So I started, of course, I was born and raised Catholic, Rose, and then I think many of us are, yun. But slowly I gave myself the opportunity to experience Zen. So there's a group that practices Zen, so we sat in sitting meditations for like 4 days, 5 days. And then I also explored pranic healing, and now I'm exploring biodanza. And most of the things that I feel I can resonate with, that has more to do with inner work and just trying to discover what are the things that I truly, truly value, and what are the things that really parang sort of stirs up my soul. Those are the things that I pursue. In a sense, Rose, I did a lot of spiritual investing. I did a lot of spiritual investing kasi parang I felt like if I didn't do this at this point of time in my life, I feel like I'm bound to have many regrets, which I don't want to carry to my grave. So like I said, no, parang I feel like this version of me now I truly love. The previous version of myself who was so competitive, who wanted to prove that, I'm just as good as you are.
Yeah.
Yung ganun klase. And you feel that, Rose, no? When you are with a group, parang there's always this sense of, yeah, I can be as smart as you, or I can even be smarter than you. May ganun. And I always do a lot of self-talk, Rose, and say, hey, teka muna, why are you acting that way? What are you trying to prove? To whom are you trying to prove this? You know, Rose, how much gifts you've been born with. And it's all waiting for you to actually exhibit and manifest it. That's how I feel. So, this being a farmer and a food crafter, parang I've been counting, ilang careers na ba meron ako? I've been a mother, I've been a wife, I've been a homemaker, I still am all three, but also I've become a BPO professional, I've become a professional volunteer, I've become a farmer, I've become a food crafter and a product developer. 7 careers na, Rose. Can you imagine?
Can you still think?
Yes, I have an 8th career.
8th career.
Line up, herbalist. Because I'm already
that's
growing
so
a lot of
interesting,
things.
yes.
I'm already growing a lot of things, and because I'm creating yummy food, I'd love to be able to create food as medicine. And therefore, I want to know what healing properties there are in many of the plants and trees I grow that can actually improve our well-being. So parang, okay, hindi pa ako expert maging farmer, hindi pa rin ako expert maging food crafter. But what's stopping me, Rose, from becoming an herbalist? I can be many things depending on the situation, diba? Depending on when it is necessary. So I feel like women can be so many things because we've always told ourselves we're more multitasking than men are. And this is not a gender fight. Okay? There's no such thing as gender fight. But I just know that one of the feminine qualities we have is we can do many things at the same time.
That's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And I look at you and I look at your journey. I don't envy you. In fact, I feel like, oh my God, there's so much more to Rose. Much more than what she's showing right now.
Yeah.
feel about women. I think ang crucial lang talaga, Rose, is to give ourselves the chance to explore it.
Right. And I think kanang one of the topics that is not usually talked about is kanang spiritual journey.
Yes.
Like how we go back to our core
Right.
and claim our feminine power.
Yes.
We don't talk about that in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Right.
Like, it seems like these two topics are two different things.
They're not. They're
Yeah,
so
you have spiritual
connected.
journey and then you have entrepreneurial journey, but
They're
as
so
as you mentioned,
connected,
as we
Rose.
talk about it, they're
Yes.
so connected.
Yes, and the way that I discovered that I do have all the entrepreneurial qualities, I may not have, a bank account that's super, super abundant yet. I don't have it yet, but it's coming, okay? But, yeah. But the thing is, Rose, kumbaga parang, I think women can become more creative and truly find and dig deep inside of themselves those qualities that will help them become successful both in the masculine world and in the feminine world also. Because we need both qualities, the masculine and the feminine, para we have a great balance between. If we utilize both masculine and feminine qualities to a sense na there's just tamang balance lang talaga, then I think we can get really consistent results. So, I'm telling you, Rose, the spiritual journey was so important to me because I probably wouldn't have the kind of flexibility I have. I wouldn't probably have the kind of perseverance and the resilience without that. So, that inner work was so critical to me being able to do all the things I'm able to do in the logical world.
Right. So maybe, how can someone start their journey? I mean,
Actually, alam mo, Rose, you're the best
be a
example. Yeah, because you're a seeker.
Just be a
Exactly. You're a seeker. I remember there was a time na parang you felt drawn to a few things. Sometimes, some of the things that you've probably gone through, like me, parang, okay, I like it, but I don't fully resonate with it. Let me try other things pa. And then you come to blend all the things that you learn.
Diba?
And then, kasi yung parang feeling ko, Rose, when I did my seeking, I did not want to follow a structure. Kasi some of the things that we experience will tell us, you gotta do this, to do this, to do this, to do that. And that, siguro nga, because part of the feminine quality is the openness. The openness to be able to blend many things that is truly uniquely yours. Not to prove to anyone that you can create a blend, but really just for you na feel mo na this is something good, and I feel I'm growing because of it. So, that openness, I think, is one of the very, very parang defining quality of a woman. Yung openness. Kasi makita mo, ang daming babae na when they have problems, they just huddle together, they don't talk, they just listen to each other. So that openness right there to be a helping, a comforting friend, di ba? Very natural siya sa babae. Di ba?
And we need that.
Yeah. Look at the number of counselors in schools. They're mostly female guidance counselors because we are able to listen kasi. Yun. And you find a lot of men having the same qualities, right? Pero in women, it's more defined. Nurturing din ang taan, di ba, sa mga anak na lang, pag may problema, takbo sa nanay ang anak. Because, hindi muna nag-judge yun. Makikinig muna. Yun.
How would you know if you're already in the right place? If you're in the right place, like this is really what I want, like, or do you have like a daily self-reflection or weekly?
It's mostly parang
Thing that helps you?
yes, parang kumbaga I meditate on not on a daily basis, pero parang my reflection at the end of the day is if I found myself reacting to something, I usually ask myself, I do a lot of self-talk. I usually ask myself, why did you react that way? Was it kasi parang I believe, Rose, the reactions that you exhibit are never about others. It's about yourself. Yun. So, that's why ngayon, parang I feel like parang I'm less stressed, Rose, because I don't have to point to others. I just need to be able to re-examine yung internal feelings ko and emotions. So, mas magaan siya, Rose, pagkatapos kasi when you point towards others, walang sagot eh. Di ba? You never know the the answer. Because you can only second guess na ba't niya ginawa yun. Pero instead of asking ba't niya ginawa yun, for which you'll never get answers for, you'd rather ask yourself na, why did you react the way you did?
And confront.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Confront
And confront
ourselves.
some of the issues. Because
like
you
that.
might have some internal issues that's causing you to react that way.
Yeah.
So yun, parang nakita ko din yun sa iyo, Rose, you weren't just seeking, you were also parang, you were not defining yourself versus a template or metrics of others. So you just do what you do, di ba? And you become good at it, and you're not, parang, parang bang, there's no sense pitting yourself against other women or other men, right? Wala.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
I admire you for that. You know, your next interview, I should be the one asking questions, and you should be the one. You should be the one getting featured. Yeah.
Next time. Alright. Okay, so next is kanang, do you have like top 3 imong kanang top 3 din siya nga lesson in life, type of lessons in life na you want to impart to other women, or something that you can start with, to become the best version of themselves, to start their
journey. Well, I think all women have started their journey. They probably are not aware that they have. Because a lot of the times parang we ask ourselves, why am I experiencing this? Why am I going through this kind of challenge? It is your journey. That is already your journey. But siguro yung, I think a lot of women do this already. And so parang sa akin is, when something resonates, listen to that voice. Listen to that voice. You know, parang, and pay attention to it in a way na, parang, if it keeps coming back, maybe you should pursue it, diba? Kasi parang ano it's there, and it's a desire, pero unfulfilled desire, unfulfilled desire. So maybe you should start listening to your intuition more. And a lot of people will ask, how do I know if it's my intuition talking? Diba? Ganun, Rose? How do I know? I think because women have a very strong sense of sensing. You know, may malakas ang sensing, gut feel. It's almost like a knee-jerk reaction din sometimes, no? So, I think women should just listen to that gut feeling more. Yun. And parang trust that inner voice. As long as you know it's not your ego or your pride getting in the way. Okay? Pero pag kunwari motivated na siya by others, because others have this, that's why I need to have that, ay mukhang maling motivation na yun. But if it's not something na parang competing with others, it's just something na feeling mo, I've long wanted to do this, or I've long wanted to try this. Go ahead. Give yourself the chance, because that is opening the door for a new journey. So that's one. The second siguro is we have to be more forgiving, I think, of ourselves. Kasi I think the harshest critic of a woman, is themselves. I mean, because nga we're born to be nurturing, para bang ang feeling ng maraming kababaihan, she has endless, inexhaustible source of energy, and she can be so many things to so many people, and in the process, sometimes she forgets herself. Kasi she's putting so many other people ahead of her. Yun. I think...
Ganun na biktima.
Yes.
Ganun na biktima.
Oo. And it's an ongoing thing. It's a vicious cycle. Kasi parang you're never enough for other people. That's how you feel. You start feeling guilty, and you start criticizing and doing more. Parang some kind of mental punishment na, why did I do this? I should have done that. Blah, 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 blah. Because this was expected of me. Excuse me. Parang kumbaga, hey, stop all that. Kumbaga, parang if you take care of yourself first, it's never selfish to be taking care of yourself first. So, love yourself first. Kumbaga, listen to...
Love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself. Because I don't think a lot of women love themselves as much as they should. Kasi, I hear this, and we don't realize it. I hear this, I invite someone, why don't you give this thing a try? You've been asking for it, and now it's here, and then they'll go, no, because my son says we need to celebrate this weekend, blah, 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 blah. And so again, parang, hey, if you want to give more of yourself, then you must find that time for yourself. Invest in yourself more than investing in others. Agree? Ah, ganar.
Ganun. Yes.
And the third probably is what's the third advice? Ano lang siguro, Rose? Drop the ego. Drop the ego. It's hard sometimes for women to understand, am I coming from pride and ego? Or am I truly coming from my soul? It took me a long time, Rose, to realize that.
Wow. It's like a bomb. Drop that ego.
Drop the ego. Because all this, every time that little voice or that monkey chattering in your mind is saying na, hey, you can be as good as that person. Or, I need to show them that I can be better. And yung ganon, that's ego. All the literal definitions of yourself, like maganda ka, matangkat ka, maputi ka, ang ganda mo magbihis, and those are all literal definitions. Or ganito kadami yung pera mo sa bangko, ito ang title mo, presidente ka nito, nasa board ka nito, and you're the country representative for this. If those things motivate you, they're good to a certain extent, Rose. Pero if it preoccupies your entire life, and the constant proving na I am this is expected of me, that's ego. But if you're truly coming from a space of love, Rose, regardless of what others expect you, and it's something that you truly, truly love to do, then that's no longer ego. It's your soul. It's your soul saying, yes, this is good for you, go for it. It doesn't matter what others say. It doesn't matter how people look at you. What only matters is that you're coming from a space of love, loving yourself, and ultimately loving others if you're serving others. Serving your child, serving your parents, your family. And everyday, Rose, that's a constant struggle na, teka muna. Why are you feeling that way? It's ego talking. Is it ego talking? So why do you feel na just because hindi mo nakuha yung ganung result, you're less of a person?
It's also a process of self-awareness.
Self-awareness talaga. Dropping the ego is a constant process of being self-aware na, hey, that's my ego and that's my pride. Dealing with it.